It's Faisal here again with One Piece chapter 1089 review. So, this chapter was actually really great. It was setting up the Egghead Island arc. Like, it's setting up for its, like, the main part of this arc. And just from these two pictures here, we can see Admiral Kizaru and one of the five elders. I think his name is Saturn. They're gonna be like major players coming into this arc, and they're coming into Egghead right now, where Luffy and his crew are with Vegapunk. So let's get on to this. So the chapter starts off with the Windmill Island and everyone in there reading about the recent news about Garp's disappearance in Pirate Island, and Luffy barricading himself in Egghead Island, and admirals and like everyone coming to Egghead Island to capture Luffy and Vegapunk. So Windmill Island is where Sabo, Ace, and Luffy grew up. So basically, it's showing like the island where they grew up, and its inhabitants are like their family. So they're worried about Garp and Luffy because Garp recently just disappeared or got defeated by Blackbeard's officers, and Luffy is now in a like a really big situation with the Marines and Vegapunk, because the Marines want to take out Vegapunk, and Luffy is protecting him. Yeah, so after that, it goes on to describe the catastrophic events that followed after Imu. Imu is basically the strongest character in the series so far, I believe. He's like the he or she. I don't even know. He's like that character is basically a shadow right now. So that character, he used let's just call Imu he right now. So he used one of the ancient weapons and destroyed the kingdom of Louisiana or something along those lines. He destroyed a whole kingdom because I kind of forget why. I think it's because Sabo was in there. And Sabo found out about yeah, it's because Sabo was in that island and he found out about the five elders, and he was kind of hiding there, I believe. Um, and so the whole island was destroyed because Imu wanted to get rid of Sabo, who found out about him, Imu. So what this chapter goes to show that is that like the use of the ancient weapon, it created catastrophic events in all of the oceans of One Piece. So East Blue, West Blue, North Blue, South Blue, Grand Line, New World, all the islands Luffy has been to in the past, they have all been, and he will go to in the future, they have all been affected. Islands and beaches were flooded and they disappeared. Some islands and beaches disappeared because the sea level rose by 1 meter, all over the One Piece world, and the island that disappeared, it's like basically like a crater, like a black hole in the water. There's gonna be nothing more there, and like water doesn't come into like um go over that space. It's just gonna be a black hole like in this picture. So it goes to show like what happens when you use like an ancient weapon, and maybe that's why no one really hears about ancient weapons, and it's never really been used before. And then the chapter goes on to set up the main arc that we're currently in. We've pretty much finished all the side stories of Garp, Kid. Law and Kid got defeated by Yonko's. Garp got defeated by Yonko's officers. So now we're back at Egghead, and then we're finally resuming what's happening at Egghead. So when we last looked at Egghead, Luffy and CP0, they were fighting the Seraphim, like the new Shichibukai clones, and yeah, they were just fighting the Seraphim, and Vegapunk is trying to figure out who betrayed him. Like there's like someone in Vegapunk split himself into six other kind of like Vegapunks, and one of them is like a traitor. So that's what's happening in Egghead, and now we're getting like more details as to what's gonna happen in Egghead and how the arc is gonna progress. We see that on the Admiral side we have not the marine side, we have 9 vice admirals um, as part of their military strength, and Admiral Kizaru, who I think is probably the strongest admiral when compared to Green Bull and Fujitora, because and he's like one of the original trio of admirals, so he's a force to be reckoned with. And we have, for the first time, we're gonna see one of the five elders in action. Jay Garcia Saturn, Godhead of Defense, and we also have the Marines also have Kuma on their side, which is an interesting detail because Jewelry Bonnie is on Luffy's side right now. So there could be like there probably will be like a father daughter moment in this arc. So that's the Marines' military output right now. They have like, I think they said like 30,000 officers, 100 ships, not 30 or 20 battleships. So, and they have like 9 vice admirals, one admiral, one of the five elders, and they have Kuma, who's like a former Shichibukai. So, um, they're looking very strong right now. So that's one component of the arc, one military or one kind of group in the arc. And then we have in the bottom right, we have Luffy's crew. So Jewelry Bonnie, Luffy, and Dr. Vegapunk. They're pretty much on the same team. And then on the left side, we have some wild cards. I think they'll depend. They will maybe kind of flip flop between sides, I kind of believe, in this arc, and they'll kind of determine the outcome of this arc probably. Because Luffy's side probably needs a little bit of help because the Marines are definitely going to be overpowering Luffy's side if both the Seraphim and CP0 also gang up on Luffy's side. So the Seraphim, it depends on, I think, like who's the highest chain of order. Right now, I think someone was controlling them who to make them go against Luffy and Vegapunk. But if they can somehow make them work in their favor again, it would be a bonus to Luffy's side. And CP0 are kind of helping Luffy right now, but who knows what they'll do once the Marines like reach the island, or they manage to break into Egghead, which is kind of like a fortress right now that no one can exit or enter. So that's what's happening for the crux of the majority of the chapter. They're setting up the chapter. All the Marines are coming in. Luffy and Vegapunk are in the island, and Seraphim and CP0 are kind of just like flip flopping between like who to fight with. Um, and then finally we have like the ending moments of the chapter where we find out. I think we found out like in the last few chapters ago, before like the Garp chapters, that like York, one of the Vegapunk's name is York. She's actually the, what do you call it? She's actually the traitor. So she called the five elders in the Hall of Power. That's where they reside, the five elders, and five elders are basically supposed to be really strong, and they're supposed to be kind of like bodyguards of Imu. I would say the five elders are probably should be at least admiral level, because if you're gonna introduce them and show them so late in the manga, they should at least, I would say, be admiral level or higher. So just by saying that and having one of them in this arc means it's really getting down to business, which makes sense because Luffy's a Yonko now, so he should be fighting even tougher opponents, or get adjusted to tougher opponents than even admirals. Um, so yeah, York calls the five elders, and she demands that she wants to be a celestial dragon, and they can. She just wants to be the only Vegapunk saved and be a celestial dragon, and the five elders like agree that um, they agree with her because she's helping them, and she has like there's like a power plant to build something in Egghead Island, that some kind of powder or magic something that like what the five elders want, and York can help them with that. And basically she's been helping this whole time. So like the five elders are saying they're gonna make her a celestial dragon, which I'm really doubtful of. They'll probably just throw her aside and kill her after, if she has no more purpose anymore. But yeah, she right now their current agreement is that she and the five elders will sacrifice, not sacrifice. They will not kill her, and she can be a celestial dragon. And then in the final panels of the chapter, we see that Luffy and them made her call the five elders to understand what's going on here. So now we know that the Straw Hats are all together. Vegapunk is together with them. Jewelry Bonnie is with them. Even CP0 is in the back over there. So that goes to show again, like, it's really a wild card here where the Seraphim and the CP0 will, what side will they will pick, and that will kind of go to level out the playing field in this arc. And yeah, so Luffy's crew and everyone knows what's happening right now, and the five elders are involved, and they want to destroy or get rid of all the Vegapunks because he studied the Void Century. It's getting to the crux of the arc, and hopefully we get to know more about we get to know maybe a little bit more about Void Century through this arc, and maybe more about the five elders, and we get to see some awesome fights, and maybe see like Luffy and Rob Lucci team up, and all the other CP0s, unless they're gonna be against them. Um but yeah, so far it's setting up good, and all the big players are coming in. I look forward to some more action scenes and more fights in the future chapters. That being said, it was a great setup chapter, 8 out of 10. Everything's fitting nicely into Egghead right now. When Egghead just started, I thought it was a bit all over the place, and I didn't exactly know what to think of it because it was kind of like everything happening all at once. And but now it's really taking a structure, and with all this other side stories completing, I think we're gonna get into Egghead now, and then we can see what Egghead has in store for us. So that's all for this week's chapter, and see you guys in the next chapter. Thank you so much for watching.